Welcome to the second episode of Diary of a Randonneur. In the last episode, I talked a little bit about the goals that I'm aiming for over the course of this season. I mentioned the SR series and the Super Randonneur, but I didn't really unpack it much to talk about what that really entails. In order to achieve that, you need to complete one of each of the classic recognised distances, which are a 200, a 300, a 400 and a 600k ride at Randonneur pace, and all within one season, October to September. So the 200 and 300s are generally speaking well within my range. The 400s though is where it starts to get a little bit trickier, but again I'm reasonably confident that I can get a 400 done in roughly a 24-hour period depending upon the route, so hopefully that actually won't need any sleep. The 600 on the other hand though is a completely different matter, as I will certainly need to get some sleep. I'm not quick enough to get that done. So this brings into it some other tactics. So do you just bed down in the overnight control point, wherever that happens to be en route? Do you make a call out on the road actually that you're going to kind of maybe press on from that and bivvy? Maybe you're just going to drop into an Audax hotel and grab a few hours in a bus stop somewhere. These are the sorts of decisions that you're going to have to make out on the road. And for me, that actually kind of like really makes the challenge a little bit more interesting. Well, it's November now. It's time really, I guess, for an October goals update. I've crossed the 200 off the SR series. I've reached 4 consecutive months for the RITY, and in terms of the cumulative total for the season so far, that's 407 kilometres. Just as a reminder, the goal on that is 5,000 kilometres. We're only 1 month in, and you got to start somewhere, right? Anyway, let's get on with this ride. So our route starts in Cardiff. We head northwest out of the city towards Newport. We keep on going then to Chepstow for control point 1. It's then north, past Tintern Abbey, up onto Monmouth for control point 2. Heading west, we go towards our furthest point for the day, which is Abergavenny for control point 3. We then retrace our steps back to Monmouth Garden Centre for control point 4. We then head south across the ridge at Treleg, down past Magor and Bishton for our last control, which is an information control point, back through Newport and into Cardiff to finish. So I'm just in Cardiff, making my way across town to Cardiff Cycle Workshop for the start of the Monmouth Meander 200. This is somewhat of a homecoming for me. I actually grew up in Cardiff, and I'm taking a somewhat deliberately nostalgic route across the city. Quite nice to be back. It's probably been 20 years since I've ridden a bike in Cardiff, so yeah, quite nice to see my old stomping ground. Just passing the house that I grew up in actually. Funny, seems to remember this being a much bigger hill than it really is. So I'm on my own already, roughly 12-13k in. Might be out, it's Probably can't tell, but it's already raining. It's kind of a chilly day. I think it's going to be pretty cold today. Don't think we'll get into double figures. I think we're expecting showers all day. So glad I got me my kind of heavier waterproof for today. I've generally sort of given up with trying to stay totally dry on the bike, because it's just a losing battle, right? So yeah, just gonna try and stay warm, keep pedaling, keep smiling and enjoying it. Right, so I think I've got a slow puncture. So I think I'm going to just try and pump it up for now. Try and get to the first control point, which is not that far away. Must be around the 50k mark now. Rain's really come in. Kind of grim. It's okay though, I suppose. Monmouth's the next control. Gonna get there before I make a decision on whether I'm actually gonna really stop. But yeah, I think that coffee and quick rest was really good for my legs. Kind of feeling a lot stronger now. So yeah, it's always good for the morale in this kind of weather, right? So I just stopped up in Monmouth for a control. A couple of guys I with went to the pub actually to have a full English. Man, it sounded tempting honestly, but I kind of just want to crack on at this point. When I get to Abergavenny, it's 105k. It's the furthest point, so I think I sort of want to get past the point of no return, frankly. The stop in Monmouth, actually, I got real cold. Barely stopped, hands got freezing. Not so bad now. Hands warmed up again. Toes pretty cold, but that's situation normal for me. Sorry I haven't got more on the bike footage really, but it's not one of them days to be filming the view, honestly. It's kind of a shame. I was hoping that through Tintern to stop at the Abbey for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and just have a quick look, but not today. Not far from Abergavenny now. Boy, I'm looking forward to that cafe stop. Hot drink, get my toes warm. My feet are in bits right now, so yeah. Not sure what hill that is. Kind of nice though, seeing it in the mist. Just stopped up in Abergavenny, another control point. Stopped up in the Kutch Cafe, excellent cafe, highly recommend it. The ladies in there extremely accommodating to a smelly, stinking, soaking wet idiot on a bike. Thank you very much, ladies. You made that a really good stop. Managed to warm up a bit. Feet didn't sort of get back to normal, but I certainly got them out of the painful stage, so you know, that's pretty good. Hands have warmed up again now as well. It's probably the great thing about these, I think they're Primaloft gloves, that even soaking wet, they're still actually really warm. I'll definitely do a full review of those on the blog at some point. But now it's off to Monmouth Garden Centre. Okay, so done most of the big climb. For those of you who didn't catch my Instagram post this week, I'm somewhat missing a vital ingredient to the front chainring setup there, right? I'm having to use the manual gear shift method. This week I broke my front neck. I made a late night internet purchase to get something on there for this weekend, and I made a error. Fortunately there was no time to get anything else, and yeah, well, this is the result of it. It's not actually been too bad, to be fair.
It's an annoyance, of course, but where it was out or don't ride, right? So yeah. So about to drop off the ridge. Be a good thing. And this freezing fog has just been literally freezing. It is so cold up here. Yeah, so mostly down off the ridge now. Beautiful view. These are sort of the views I've been waiting for all day, to be honest. So we're not since long past Bishton, actually, which is where my mum and dad live. So hi mum, hi dad. They're not there, of course, they're in France. Certainly on the Homeward straight now, just past the last information control. And there's actually there's some different routes we can take to get back. The mapped route, I don't really know that bit of Cardiff very well, but we were told about an alternative in the rider briefing, and that's an area I do know pretty well. So I think I'm going to probably wing it a bit through that. Anyway, looks like it might well be a nice sunset after the terrible day we've had. So I think it's fair to say this has been quite a tough day. Route itself, actually not that tough, to be honest. I mean, the climb, that big climb, and a couple of lumpy bits on the way down, that was certainly challenging with 140k in your legs already. But yeah, I think what made this tough today was the weather. My feet frozen solid still. Anyway, about 30k left. Nothing too challenging, I don't think, to get home now. So yeah, I guess I'll probably see you at Arrive. I didn't record any more footage after yesterday's ride. Once I got back to the cycle workshop, my feet were pretty painful, and I was just really concentrating on trying to thaw them out, and I kind of tunnel visioned on that a little bit. Once my feet were back in the land of the living, I was actually just really enjoying chatting with other riders, getting some hot soup down me. And it didn't really seem like the moment to kind of get the camera out again. On top of that, I had to venture back out into the rain and ride across the city to my car, and then do the 2-hour drive home. So yeah, like I say, getting the camera out wasn't really a priority at that point. Just to unpack the ride a little bit, I would certainly say this wasn't a route that I'm ever going to go back and ride again. It's a little bit of a shame, because in isolation there were actually some really nice bits. The problem was that it kind of necessitated linking those bits up by riding some frankly terrible roads that I just don't want to ride a bike on. On a more positive note, the Grip Grab Nordic gloves and the Columbia Outdry rain jacket performed excellently. I was super impressed with their first real sort of hardcore test. I'll definitely be writing up some reviews on those, because they are excellent pieces of gear. On the whole, I would definitely say that I enjoyed yesterday. I think really for the challenge element, you know, sometimes it's kind of good to put yourself through it a little bit, but that certainly won't be going down on the list of classic rides, that's for sure.